Some of these couples, I love them because they're not toxic, and others because they're perfectly toxic. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mind and More, where we talk about anything that comes to mind and more. I've talked about couples I hate before, but today I'm spreading positivity and want to talk about couples I love. These are the TV couples who make me forget that it's just TV and make me believe in love again. I don't want to do too much prefacing, so without further ado, here are the 5 couples that I love the most in no particular order. Number 5 is Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother. I mean, this is obvious. These two are incredibly cute together. How did they meet? They were college sweethearts together since their late teens, so they have been together for a long time, and for it to still look romantic and like they still have fun is such a feat. So they were together for over a decade over the course of the show, went through dating, engagement, a breakup, marriage, and kids. They went through it all, but overall remained pretty stable. Are they compatible? They have very complementary personalities. He's earnest, she's blunt, and they know how to have fun together. They clearly adore each other and laugh together, which is so important. Beyond being in love, you can tell that they genuinely like each other. They also have shared values and shared friendships, and that makes for such a strong bond. I also like how they resolved conflicts. Although they don't always have the exact same goals or always communicate perfectly, because who does? Some conflicts are bigger than others, but for all of them, they eventually find ways to resolve things, showing an understanding of the value of healthy compromise in a relationship. I just love these two, and I loved their little traditions and inside jokes. They weren't just building a relationship, it felt like they were building more of like a shared culture. Let's move on to number 4, Rob and Samira from the Burbs 2026. So how did they meet? They were married already when we met them as the show begins. They're newlyweds and new parents relocating to Rob's childhood home. So these two look so cute together. And when we meet them, they're only about a year into their marriage with a newborn, a couple at the very start, and they have this high stakes new parent chapter that they're just entering into. So compatibility. Beyond the superficial things like how good they look together, Samira's sharp lawyer brain complements Rob's more easygoing nature. She's the investigator, but he's often pulled along, and he learns to trust her instincts. They're also a very believable couple. If there's any couple that looks like an actual couple in real life, it's these two amongst the couples on my list. They go through certain normal challenges like struggling to find time together after having a baby, or having challenges with communication as the dynamics in the relationship inevitably change. I also like how they genuinely care for each other. It's sort of like what I saw in Marshall and Lily. A different kind of couple completely, but I mean, the care for one another seems very genuine. Rob is very supportive and does his best to support Samira even when he doesn't fully understand where she's coming from. Samira also gives Rob some benefit of the doubt and chooses to confront him about his past, even when all signs point to him being dangerous and most people would have probably just left. Well, actually, I don't know if it's most people, but I know I would have left before I even asked anything. I'll be like, okay, let me run away with my life. But she actually confronts him and she doesn't just leave without getting to the bottom of things. And when it comes to conflict resolution, their trust is tested over secrets tied in Rob's past and Samira's mild paranoia, but they confront the issues and reconcile and end up working as a team rather than letting the secrets pull them apart, which I think is awesome. A star, A+ to both of them. Let's go on to number 3. Joe and Love from You. Firstly, before we go any further, it's worth addressing that this is not a good couple, not in the literal sense of the word. Both are manipulative, controlling, and dangerous. They literally unalive people. but they are people I love to watch. They're not a perfect couple, but I was rooting for them because they matched each other's energies, albeit in the most toxic way possible. But I liked them. I hate to say it, but I loved Love and Joe. So how did they meet? They met in a food store in the fresh produce section. If that's not a perfect way to meet, I don't know what is. No arguments about that. And how long were they together? They were together for a couple of years, maybe 2. In this time, they got married and had a kid. And now let's talk about their compatibility. These two are terrifyingly compatible in the worst way possible. They have this shared darkness, same affinity for obsession and violence. Love knows this and therefore completely accepts Joe for all the bad things he is. However, unfortunately, Joe is delusional and grows to resent Love and the things she does, even though those are the exact same things he does. If it weren't for Joe's denial, they were a perfectly evil match. Their relationship was so intense, dangerous, and disturbing that I just couldn't look away. When it comes to conflict resolution, their conflicts almost always end up in violence or manipulation rather than honest communication, so they're actually terrible. But I still love them. They're a complete contrast to the healthy couples on my list, but what I liked about them is how rare their love is. I mean, if you can even call it that. But I mean, what are the odds of 2 serial unalivers meeting and falling in love? That's magic.
She may come back with Henry or a machete.
Now let's go back to some healthy couples with number 2. Chidi and Eleanor from The Good Place. How did these two meet? This is the only couple that met here after they died. Like, I cannot make this up. They met after they died. They're assigned as soulmates in the afterlife, but the show doesn't follow a cliche soulmate trope and instead makes them earn it across multiple timeline resets. They continuously chose to be soulmates in each timeline, which I think is incredible. They were together for hundreds of lifetimes, literally, arguably the longest relationship in TV history. And in terms of compatibility, they seem like opposites on the surface. Chidi is an indecisive overthinker and a professor of moral ethics who's paralyzed by anxiety, while Eleanor is a cynical and selfish liar who's pretty unethical most days. But they do push each other to grow into better people. Chidi helped Eleanor consider the implications of her actions and therefore choose to be more considerate and selfless, while Eleanor helped Chidi realize that perfection is impossible, so perfect decisions don't exist. Falling short of perfection is not a moral failure, but a natural part of life, and that's okay. Now let's talk about conflict resolution. There was so much honesty between them and consistent dialogue. And another thing that I loved about these two is that they also appreciated qualities in each other that the other saw as a weakness in themselves. Chidi thought he was a nerd and he was not cool enough for Eleanor, but she reassured him that yes, he was a nerd, but his intellect is one of the things she was attracted to. Eleanor confessed she felt she wasn't good enough for Chidi, morally that is, and I think this was in season 4. But he let her know that he loved her exactly the way she was. So, final point about these two. I love their ending. Without spoiling anything, I like that their ending wasn't just about staying together forever, but it offered a refreshing and uniquely mature take. Finally, the last couple on my list, one of my favorite couples ever, top 5 couples that I love. The last couple is Monica and Chandler from Friends. How did they meet? They started off as friends. It was not a love at first sight situation, which is realistic. They began seeing one another after connecting in London after years of friendship. They'd gone to London for Ross's wedding, which did not go well, by the way. Anyway, they were together for several years. They dated, engaged, and married on screen. So it's one of the few sitcom couples that go through all of the things, go the full distance without the will they, won't they drama, which I really appreciated. And in terms of compatibility, Monica's need for control or organization was always balanced out by Chandler's humor and deflection. They understood each other and accepted each other's neuroses instead of trying to fix them. And when it comes to conflict resolution, they often talked things out and approached conflict honestly. An example that comes to mind is when they were working through Chandler's fear of commitment. At the start of their relationship, they had a fight, and Chandler thought that was it. He was like, oh, okay, I thought we were broken up. I thought you were going to leave me. And instead of drama, Monica reassures him that they're fine and reminds him that you don't just break up every time you run into a hiccup. So I really appreciated that moment. It must have been in season 6 of the show, if I remember correctly. But overall, their relationship grew organically in the background, making them feel very real with very little drama compared to a couple like Ross and Rachel. And we already know how I feel about those two. So that's it. Those are my 5 favorite couples on TV. Absolutely love all of these. We had Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother, Rob and Samira from The Burbs 2026, Joe and Love from You, Chidi and Eleanor from The Good Place, and finally Monica and Chandler from Friends. Are there any other couples that you are obsessed with, that you absolutely love? Did I miss out anyone? Do you not agree about these couples? Let me know.